Hello everyone, it's Mari here for the Paper and Ink Boutique. Welcome back to the channel. We're so happy when you stop by. I'm going to be creating a really sweet card for you today using some brand new products from Waffle Flower. These are actually from their last release, not the most recent release, but they're very, very new products. This is the card that I'm going to be creating. It is so soft and pretty, and I just love the products that were part of this release. And of course, they always have so many amazing dies and stamps and stencils and all the things. This is a really great greeting die set with a coordinating stamp set. It's called Script Greetings. Really, really fun. That's what I used for my hugs greeting for the front of my card here. I'm also going to be using this fantastic die set called Mix and Match Butterflies. I'm going to show you the ability to make so many different kinds of butterflies with that set. This is a really fun tag set. This is called Nesting Piercing Tags, and you can see it comes with a coordinating stencil. It's not sold separately. That stencil comes with the dies. This is a cloudy sky stencil, which is awesome. This is another die, which is really great. It's Nesting Piercing Ticket Frames. And then I'm also going to be using the Piercing Lines die to create some texture in my background for my card panel. So I'm taking some heavier white cardstock, and I'm going to be using that for doing some of the different die cutting and card fronts and blending and all sorts of things here. I'm going to start off here with my Nesting Piercing Ticket Frames. I'm going to take the largest die from that set, and I'll just go ahead and cut that out of a piece of white cardstock here. This cuts a piece that is perfect for an A2 size card front, but of course you could also use it on a 5x7. You would just have more margin space there. But this is just a really great size, like I said, for your A2 cards as well. And then, of course, this is a nesting die set, so you've got the smaller sizes as well, which is great. Now, I've die cut that from white, so you can see you're going to get that center piece and you're going to get a frame. And I'm going to die cut that again from some Spellbinders mint cardstock. If you have not discovered the Spellbinders cardstock yet, let me tell you, it is now my favorite cardstock in my stash. I love it. I love that it comes in so many different colors. It is a beautiful weight. It is smooth. It's just beautiful. I love it. And you can get it in multi-packs, which is nice. You don't have to just buy the pack of one color. You can get the multi-packs, which is really great. Now I'm going to use a Waffle Flower blending brush here, also another really fantastic product. They did just release a larger set of blending brushes as well, but all of their brushes are great. The fine detail ones are awesome too. I really, really love them. And I am going to use Mint Chill from 49 and Market. I'm just going to put it on a little piece of grip mat from Tim Holtz and Tonic. I'm just going to put that under my ink pad there, just so you can see then it won't move on my glass mat. And I'm going to use my grip mat, my Waffle Flower grip mat on my desk to hold my cardstock in place. And then I'm going to take that cloud stencil, and you can just see here, I'm just going to keep turning it so I can get a different cloud pattern, but also I'm going to just leave that white gap between the layers of the cloud. So you can see here, I'm leaving enough space between the blending so we get that white puffy cloud look. And then right up against the edge of the stencil, I'm blending quite heavy, and then I'll blend it out lighter away from the stencil so that we get a really rich dark color of the mint chill and then lighter into white. And this is just going to give just a beautiful puffy cloud sky look. And of course, you can do this with whatever color you want. So you can make them look like thunderclouds or whatever you want, which is great. So I just wanted to use my 49 and Market inks. I'm really enjoying them. I love those inks. They're fantastic. So I'm going to take the large tag die from the Pierce tag die set. And here you can just see that I've die cut out my little clouds from the tag. So this is going to create a really perfect little background for my butterflies. Now, the piece that was cut away when I die cut out my frame there earlier when I cut it from white. So my nesting piercing ticket frame cutaway piece, I'm going to take that from in the white and I'm going to just tape that. I'm going to make sure that I've got it really nice and centered so that the lines are all the same distance from the edge, so to speak, from each side. So I've centered it on the die and I'm just going to tape it in place and then I'll run that through my die cutting machine. Now my pierce lines are nice and centered and you can see how this tag is going to layer over top of that. And it's just going to be a really nice effect when we go to put this card together. And then you can see the frames are going to frame that in and bring that mint shell in, or that mint color in. These are the colors from Spellbinders that I'm using today. You can see that I've used my swatch die from Spellbinders to die cut out and label all of my different cardstocks. So I'm using Coral, Sicily, Mint, Seaside, Waterfall, and Oceanside. Really, really beautiful color combination. I love having these swatched so that I can just go in and I can just, you know, put things beside each other and see what I want for my color scheme. This is just a really, really great way of sorting out what you want for a color scheme and just a great way to see what cardstocks you have. And you can do this, you can use that die set with any of your cardstocks, obviously. So now once I've die cut this from white, my butterflies from white and from some gold mirror cardstock, I've got some, you know, all of those colors that I showed you from Spellbinders. I've die cut them multiple times so that I just have this tray of tons of butterflies to work with, which is great. And that is one of the Spellbinders stacking trays, which I love working with to keep my all of my little, you know, die cuts, ephemera, whatever, organized when I'm working away. Now, I'm just going to show you here all of the, well, I'm not going to show you all the possibilities because they're endless, really, of the different types of butterflies you can create. But there's so many. You can put these together in so many different ways to create just a ton of different variations of these butterflies. And you can take these and layer them, the solids underneath the piece that matches up for the top piece. You can take the little floral cutaway pieces and inlay them back into that little floral space in different colors. Lots of different options. And of course, you can die cut these from pattern paper and make some pattern paper butterflies as well. So I love that die set. The butterfly die set is a must-have. I know I'm going to use that so much. And I love that it's got, you know, when you die cut it once, you've got just a bunch in that one pass of your die cutting machine. So you don't have to, you know, you don't even have to die cut a bunch of different times. Just even once gives you enough for a few cards. So here's the ocean side. You can just see how nicely these die cut. Gorgeous. Love it. Love that color of cardstock, by the way. I think my favorite cardstock from Spellbinders is the Seaside color, though. This is some of the SIZZIX Opulent cardstock that you can get. I love these packs because you get, you know, the shimmer paper, you get the mirror paper, you get, you know, just all of the different variations of the specialty paper. And this pack is a multicolor pack, which is great. And I wanted to just do a few of these little bits of the specialty paper to add in as options for different layers here. So you can see how pretty that is, that little bit of shimmer and shine between some of these different layers. So really nice. I love how that's going to look too. And I did do some of the glitter paper as well, which is fun. And so again, I'm just going to show you here how these can go together. So many ways, so many options. I'm going to show you a little bit later in the video that I just got a little bit carried away with creating a bunch of different butterflies. So I'm going to go ahead and use my MISTI glue press to glue these together. Love that MISTI glue press. If you haven't tried that yet, once it's back in stock, go for it because it literally is the best way to apply glue, in my opinion, especially for tiny pieces when you're working with small pieces of paper, small die cuts. It's really great for getting into those small little spots. So I'll just add a little dab of glue onto wherever I'm, you know, working, and I'll just hold that in place for a few seconds. until it's adhered, and I'll set those aside once they're all put together. But I did want to put one of these shinier, this is like a platinum or champagne or gold. I forget the color that I used here, but it is like a mirror cardstock there. And it just finishes off the body of the butterfly. So pretty. I love that. And the color scheme is just, this color scheme is just really nice and soft and pretty. I like the dark Oceanside there, this kind of navy color to it. Just kind of adds a little bit of really stark, nice contrast to the other colors. So just having fun gluing my butterflies together here, figuring out different ways that I can add them together. You can go with just 2 wings on them. You don't have to have 3 layers of wings. Not even sure if butterflies have 3 layers of wings? I don't know if they even do, or if that's more of a moth thing. I'm not sure. I don't know. But you can make them however you want, obviously. So I'm just adding the body to that one. These are going to be the 2 butterflies, I believe, for my project. But here you can see I've got a ton of pieces left to make, obviously, many, many more butterflies. I am going to take my Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L Big Mama roll of foam adhesive. I love this foam adhesive tape. It's so good. It is a perfect thickness, in my opinion. I love that I love the width. So you've got the versatility of going into a smaller space or just using it multiple times to create a backer that's wider. You can see how easy the release paper comes off the back. And sometimes what I do, and I don't do this every time, but sometimes I'll add a layer of liquid adhesive onto the back of the foam so that if I know that I might struggle getting it into place perfectly, I'll add that little bit of foam or that little bit of liquid adhesive onto the foam so that it kind of allows me to wiggle it around a little bit before the foam grabs the paper. So I am adding this to the center of an A2 size top folding white card base. And now I am going to layer these 2 frames together, the white and the green. It's just going to give it a little bit of an extra oomph, a little bit more thickness there when you've got 2 layers. Just added a little bit of liquid adhesive there. I'll give that a really good press so that those are adhered together. I'll add some liquid adhesive again onto the back of the white, and then that can be added around that raised center card front on my card base. And that's just going to frame it out nicely. The mint color from Spellbinders matches the 49 and Market Mint Chill ink perfectly. They're basically the exact same color. So I love that. I love that for me. When I was creating this card, it just worked out perfectly. So I'm adding some, again, that same foam adhesive onto the back of my tag. And just if you don't like a lot of dimension on your cards, you don't have to add any of this foam tape. It is totally optional, especially if you're mailing and you don't want to pay that extra postage. Definitely, I wouldn't add the foam adhesive. Or you could add foam adhesive to just one of the layers and a really thin foam adhesive, and that would work too. Now, going in with the sentiment set, again, this is the script greetings. This is the hugs stamp from that set. I've put it into my MISTI, and I'm going to stamp that out with some VERSAMARK ink. This is a clear, sticky ink. And what's really great is it can add a watermark to your cardstock, or you can also use it with embossing powder. So I'm taking my EK Success Anti-Static Powder Tool, and I'm adding that onto my white cardstock. And then I'm going to take the VERSAMARK ink and ink up my stamp onto my paper. That's going to add that watermark onto my paper, which you probably can't see on camera. I'm adding some gold embossing powder from WOW. And that's just going to go nicely onto that embossing ink because the ink is sticky and it's clear. The embossing powder sticks perfectly to that ink, and then you can just take your heat tool and melt it. And it's plastic, so it just melts perfectly. And you have this beautiful raised metallic embossed sentiment for the front of your card. So I'm using my WOW heat tool, which I love. It's got 2 heat settings on it, which I really love about it. And I have taken the coordinating die from the sentiment set, and I've die cut that hugs 3 times additionally besides the embossed. And what that's going to do for me is it's going to allow me to go ahead and glue these layers together with my liquid adhesive. And it's almost going to create kind of like a chipboard sentiment for me then. So it's going to be so nice and thick when I get all of these layers glued together that it is kind of like a chipboard piece when you're done. You can do this with any of your dies. It doesn't matter what die it is. If you want to create some dimension on your project without using foam adhesive, just die cut the piece multiple times, glue your dies together, your die cuts together. Don't glue your dies together, just your die cuts. And once you've glued those together, you're going to have just this really great dimensional piece to add to your project, which is going to be really nice. And I love this style of sentiment. And Waffle Flower has these in a bunch of different themes, the script sentiment type of greeting. Really, really nice. And so you can find them in the shop in lots of different kinds of words. This set here, this script greeting set happens to have some really nice generic words in it that go with a lot of different basic cards. So really, really versatile in that way. So I have that glued to the bottom of that tag. I'm adding a single foam square onto the back of my 2 butterflies here, and I'll place those onto my card front and just kind of putting them a little bit askew. They're not going to be straight. They're going to kind of be flying off to the side. You could actually, even with a black pen, add a little butterfly trail line, a little flight path line onto your card. That'd be cute too. You could also do that with a gold gel pen if you wanted. And I am going to just press those into place. And I really like how that finishes off the card, obviously. I think that looks really pretty. Here you can see I've made another one. I have 2 of that same card. And I'm going to show you here all of the butterflies that I got when I put these together. Friends, I had so much fun creating these cards for you today. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please make sure that you check out the description box below for the list of all of the products that I've used from the Paper and Ink Boutique. Have a wonderful day. If you haven't subscribed, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. And please give this video a thumbs up so that we know that you liked it. And I'm just going to show you here, I'm going to lift up some of these butterflies up closer to the camera so that you can see them a little bit easier. But aren't they fun? And I've got a ton of butterflies. Butterflies for days. I can make so many cards with all of these different butterflies now. These would be great embellishments for memory keeping as well, or any type of project that you're working on if you're making some tags for gift bags and so on and so forth. So really, really great. Have an amazing day, friends. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.